Hi guys, FrostFangs here, and welcome back once again, of course, to another Paladins video. We're going to be playing some Torvald today. Been a little while since I made a Torvald video. The last time I think was in December or January. He was performing pretty well. A decent amount of people were starting to pick him up. His protection has been pulled down from I think 1,000 to 500. It's being cut literally in half. His talents I think are all still the same. Everything else around his kit is the exact same, but protection now at base is 500, which is pretty damn bad. If I remember correctly, the last time I made a video on Torvald, he'd just been kind of buffed and he'd been given somewhat of like a second life, and people were starting to play him again, because just before that last video I made, he was in a very similar position to where he is now, where he wasn't really being picked all that much because he wasn't really shielding all that effectively. And now his shield is the lowest it's ever been with 500. You can technically buff it out to 1,000 with Thanks Grandpa, but his talent selection in general is pretty rough. At the same time, I do get that Torvald is a bit of a tough balancing act, because if he's too good, people just play him and shield for a ridiculous amount without even really trying, but at the same time, if you nerf him too much, no one picks him whatsoever, because I actually haven't seen him even once so far in my time playing this patch. I played him a couple times, so this isn't like my first time playing with this. I've played with it already and I know it's pretty damn rough. I'll go through my alerts and I guess we'll just jump into a game. I'll try my best to kind of get my thoughts out and my explanation and stuff throughout the course of the video. I don't want to do it all here in the intro, but the loadouts all share the same 6 cards. We have Wind Dancer, which gives a speed buff to the person we shield. We also have a heal to the person we give a shield to, which is Life Giver, ammo to the person we shield with the Q, which is Time Shaper, Glyph of Freedom and Glyph of Health for a reset when we get in a limb and also a bit of extra health. And the 6th card is Hearthwater, which gives us a shield when we use a Q. I don't really see that many of the others. I don't see any of these 4. I don't see either of these 2. I don't see pretty much all of the ones around Nullify, other than occasionally Scribe's Wit. So not only are his talents a little bit iffy, his cards also aren't the best. The actual difference between the 3 setups are pretty straightforward. You can kind of see here, this one just has Time Shaper and then Life Giver and Wind Dancer a bit higher. This one is the same thing but with Glyph of Freedom, and this one has both, but then Life Giver and Wind Dancer are down 1 each. Obviously whichever one I go for depends on the situation, but yeah, let's just jump into a match. I don't want to do a TDM, I want to do just an Onslaught or a Siege today, and yeah, hopefully let's do at least okay with Torvald, because I've tried to record this video once already and it was really rough. I'm hoping this time it goes at least a little bit better. Seems like for game 1 we've got Siege, Shadow Desert, we've got Charlene and Alex. I've of course locked in my Torvald. Looks like we're also going to have a Drogoz and an IO, and we're up against a Ram, a Maeve, a Ceres, a Tiberius and a Nando. Seems like pretty standard setups overall, although I do recognize their Ram and possibly their Nando. I've definitely played with that Ram before and I'm expecting this to be a little bit rough. We'll go ahead and grab Thanks Grandpa, so our shield is 1,000 instead of 500, so this way maybe we can absorb more than just a single hit, and this way we can absorb I guess 2 maybe. Guess I'll go for the mix setup here. Probably makes the most amount of sense. I haven't played with default Torvald in a while, which is why I decided to grab him like this. We'll start off with Kronos. We've got Goddess's Blessing, Sand Trap, Death Hastens, Fusillade. We're up against Mortal Reach, Tiger's Fury, Formidable, Cat Burglar and Enforcer. I actually don't have anything to pull Ram out of his F other than my Silence, which will hopefully work out well. That's a stun straight onto the freaking Nando straight off the bat. Nice. There's a couple more hits into the Ram. Trying to position myself so I can silence. There we go. That actually worked there. Here's a Q for the IO. Why am I still trying to fight you at close range? What's wrong with me? I guess it didn't work too badly though. There is a buff to Charlene. Well done, fam. We just got rid of him. Thank you, IO, for the speed buff. There goes the Ram. They're all over on right. We'll throw a Q onto the IO again, and that is probably going to be a 1-0. Nando's trying to run him, but we're good. Hello, Ram. What's popping, my guy? There's a bunch of shots into him. He is gone. There's a Q onto the Charlene. I guess we'll just push up onto the Fernando. I guess I might as well silence him so he can't dash away. There we go. Nice. Torvald is obviously still playable, but he's just in a worse position than he was before, because you're now shooting for 500 at base, which is pretty damn bad. 500 is less than a lot of people's like single hits. Obviously you can still give like a speed buff and like ammo gen and like a slight heal, but the fact that you can only shield for 500 if you don't go for Thanks Grandpa is pretty bad. So silence again for the Nando. Nice. Ram is actively avoiding me, by the way, when he uses his dash, which I got to give him props for, because I know a lot of people would just run straight into me. Ceres is going for an ult. I don't know if she got anybody else other than me. Seems like she didn't. I went ahead and shielded the IO straight off the bat because I was worried she got pulled too, but apparently not. There. So Q for the Charlene. We'll just keep making this push. Guess we'll just keep making this push. There's a silence for the Ram. I think he was kind of expecting that, maybe? I don't know. I do have my ult up, but I'm not going to use it. He went ahead and popped his. That is the push successful. There's a Q for him and my F. There we go. Cool. 2-0. Let's go into round 2. Just going to keep firing into this Ram. He's nearly gone. There's my F. There is a Q. I feel like the setup we went for was definitely the right one. I am finding it a little bit difficult to put how I feel about Torvald though into words, that's for sure. There. It's a silence for him. He's nearly gone. Team is luckily taking advantage of everything I'm like putting down. Ram is gone. There we go. Feel like the team is doing a great job of capitalizing off of what I'm trying to set up. I think the IO is also having a similar experience. There's a silence for the Ram. Team just keep firing into him. There's a Q for the Lex. He is gone any second. He seems to just keep diving in. I'm not actually sure if he's here or not, because he is playing a little bit like how the Ram bot plays. I don't know. There's a silence for the Tiberius. He's nearly gone. IO is also massively helping with the speed buff. It really is quite nice to play with when you're on like Torvald, who's kind of slow. Ceres just went for an ult. There's a Q onto the Drogoz. Hello, Ram. What's popping, my guy? I'm just going to slowly try and wiggle away. Thank you for the heal, IO. There's a little shield for you. Okay, there is my F. She's going for an ult. There's a shield for her again. I do have my ult up, but I don't really know when would be a good time to use it. I'm probably dead here. Okay, there we go. That is my first death. Kind of my own fault. We got a little bit split up there. Did try and jump on it there to trigger the overtime, but the team was way too far away, and I don't think I even got on it. So yeah, there we go. 3-1. Like I think I was trying to say at the start, though, balancing Torvald is really, really difficult because he either shields for way too much and everybody picks him and he's just really, really annoying to go against because you're constantly having to go through shields, or he doesn't shield for all that much and nobody really picks him. But I think the current thing is, though, Wrecker isn't all that strong. It's like 20% of level. So at max level Wrecker, you're only getting 60% extra damage to shields, which isn't all that much. And I think because Wrecker is kind of crappy at the moment, they've decided to make Torvald also kind of crappy at the moment instead of just buffing out Wrecker and then also maybe buffing out shields. I don't know. Seems like they just want to go in the direction of making items less important. At least that's how I understand it. I don't know. There goes Rom. There's an F and a Q for him. Let's get a silence onto this Nando. What am I silencing? Am I silencing him or the shield? Because his shield didn't go down. That was weird. Lex ulted Tiberius. Nando is dead. They do actually have to hold this if they want to get the overtime. There's a silence onto Rom. He's totally dead here. I don't know what Jogos is doing. Took him a little while. I'm going to pop my ult as well. Am I not CC immune? Did it just not go off? I feel like I should be CC immune in my ultimate, or am I not? I don't know. That was a pretty good silence. I'm just going to go ahead and ult and throw all of these guys away. Later enemy team. Jesus Christ, I just sent them flying. Unnecessary, but that might actually secure the push because they're miles away. Might as well do a little bit of a jig on the point. I feel like that was rude, but at the same time, that was a good position to use my ult in. So yeah, there we go. There are the stats for game one. We'll go top to bottom. Lex did a pretty good job. Drogo shredded. Charlene pretty decent. Io did pretty good. I feel like I also did fine. Surprisingly decent stat there. As for their side, Tiberius did pretty decent. Ceres did a pretty good job. Maeve was struggling a little bit. Nando was definitely struggling a little bit, and so was the Rom. I was expecting that to be a way closer game. I'm kind of surprised we won by such a big margin, but yeah, there we go. Game one. I've tried my best already to get my thoughts out on Torvald and Wrecker and all that sort of stuff, shielding in general in Paladins throughout the course of this video, but yeah, I've been trying my best to have it make sense. I'm probably going to cut it up a ton, and even then you're probably going to have to piece it together for it to make sense. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this change specifically with Torvald, and also your opinion on shielding in general in Paladins. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, because from my experience with the game, this change to Torvald, cutting his Q in half, has effectively killed him. I have not seen him a single time since the update has gone out, and before then I was seeing him a ton. So for game two, we've got Game Hills Nova Junction, we've got a Dredge, we've got a Victor, we've got a Ying and a Strix. We're up against a Furia, a Cassie, a Buck, an Andro, and a Barrack. So super similar teams. Reckon I'll go for the exact same setup here. Thanks Grandpa, and then the same hybrid sort of loadout. We've got Abyss Spike, we've got Crackshot, we've got Burst Mode, up against Fortify, Curse Revolver, Impulse, and Cherish. We'll go ahead and start out with Chronos. Again, makes the most sense. I think we've also got Focusing Lens on Ying, which should be kind of nice. And which one didn't I read out? Bounce House, I think? Or was it Curse Revolver? I don't know. Anyway, let's go into game two. Definitely don't get me wrong, though. I do actually really, really like Torvald, even if he does have a super predictable playstyle where you just spend your entire time of playing him freaking shielding people. I find Torvald to be really, really good fun, and I just think it's a bit of a shame that they've decided to hit his Q so goddamn hard. Definitely we're lacking a little bit in damage for that first team fight, but let's go see if we can get rid of the Barrack. There's a silence from team, just start doing some work. There is my F. There's a Q onto the Victor. We should be able to kill him. I don't think he's going to have his ult up, so I'm going to see if I can go through his health. That was a heal from Furia. I'm probably dead. There's a Q onto the Barrack. I just walked into that stun because I wasn't paying enough attention, but capture point has moved. Barely even got to touch that one, to be honest. We didn't really have most people pushing up, so it was kind of difficult to do. Went ahead and got Chronos too. We'll go see if we can hold this one down. Rip Ying. There's another Q for the Victor. There's a silence, so we can't bring up the shield. Can you hit him, please? Thank you very much. Still trying my best to hold the point. Dredge is playing super defensive. Ying is playing super aggressive. It's kind of working out for Ying, but the Dredge playing defensive is kind of sucky. The freaking Barrack is nearly gone. I'm also nearly gone. Finish off this Furia. Nice. I literally just had enough ammo there. Is a Q for nobody because I don't have vision on anybody. Dredge seems to finally be spamming the objective, which I appreciate. There's a Q for the Ying. Cool. Do I go for my ult here? No, I'm dead. Okay, never mind. Definitely seem to be lacking damage-wise in this match. There's a silence for the Buck. I'm also trying to body block him, but nobody's paying attention. Okay, I'm going to pop an F. That is Dredge going for an ult. There's another Q for the Ying. She's popping hers. There's my F. There's another Q for the Ying. His ult's up, so I can't really do anything. Just get some more shots into him. He's gone. Seems like there's a couple people on our side who just don't really want to leave where they spawn. The Dredge and the Strix, and also sometimes the Victor, are playing super stationary. The Ying is luckily pushing up with me, but me and her really aren't enough to do the work. I'm shielding a return, trying my best to keep her alive, but she is getting bodied a little bit. We don't have enough damage, just me and her, when the rest of the team are just sat back up there. Look at them. Oh my god. Look at them. That perfectly proves my point. They're all just playing super defensively where me and Ying try and play the point. Let's get rid of the Furia. There's my F. There's a Q for the Dredge and a silence for the Andro. Nice. Okay. See, when they actually play with this, it works out great. Like, occasionally they seem to push up and we wipe a team, but a lot of this is just me and the Ying trying to make an effort. I'm on 900 health here, by the way. There is my death. It does very much seem like our team is kind of split down the middle. Me and Ying are playing aggressively, then Strix and Dredge are playing defensively, and Victor is kind of in the middle, and it's really not working for us. Looks like we're going to lose by 200 points. Yep, there we go. There is the defeat. I'm sure the stats will do a good job of explaining why that game was a bit of a mess. So yeah, there we go. There are the stats for game two. Dredge did pretty damn good. Mr. Miki, I recognize the name. He was playing very defensively, but he actually did it well. well, 11 to 2, 75k, props to him. Shoutouts to new Tizer Z, new Tizer Z, I don't know if that is the enemy Cassie. Victor had a really tough time, 213, 40k, pretty rough. Ying did okay, but definitely could have done better. Same thing with the Strix, who was playing very, very defensively, but not doing it anywhere near as well as the Dredge was. Victor, like I said, was kind of in the middle. I feel like we didn't do particularly good, but we also didn't do badly there. 100 objective time, 36k damage is fine, 100k shields, I'll take that. As for their side, the Andrew did alright, the Cassie did pretty good, the Fury did pretty good, the Barak did fine, he had a freaking shit ton of objective time there, and the Buck did pretty good as well. We did definitely struggle a little bit there in that second match, definitely showing off that Torvald really does require a team to do well. If you have a team that are picking up what you're putting down, it works out great, but if you have a team that are playing King of the Hill like it's TDM, you're going to lose because you're on the objective on your own. I would say overall Torvald is in a bit of a rough spot because it seems like instead of buffing out Rekka and making items important, they seem to be nerfing Torvald and making Rekka unimportant. Currently Torvald can't really provide all that much shielding. He can provide a lot of utility because he can buff speed, he can give ammo, and he can also heal, which is nice, but 500 shielding at base is pretty damn bad. Furia can provide 250 with a card on a 1000 plus heal, so that gives you a bit of an idea, and his talents are also pretty damn rough. Thanks Grandpa buffs it out to 1000, which actually makes it somewhat decent. Direct current is direct current. Field steady buffs the damage out by 10% of whoever you're shielding, but it's a 500 shield if you go for this, which means it's not really that good of a decision. Don't get me wrong though, Torvald isn't terrible, he's just not in the best position ever, and I'm a little bit confused with why they're making the decisions they're making regarding shielding stuff. I really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because obviously I'm just giving you mine. If you see any others in the comment section that you agree with, just thumb them up so I can see whichever are the most popular, and yeah, I'll see you guys all really, really soon. Let me know, of course, what you want to see me do next. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and as always, stay frosty. I'm bad at outros. I might be bad at videos too. This one was all over the place.